Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Event Technique and Eventsburgh. And this is a chance for you to meet one of the coolest meeting planners / event planners that I know. Her name is Ashley Kurkiewicz, and she has a marvelous company based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania called Hello Productions. So welcome to you, Ashley. How you been?
Good, thank you.
Good. We're going to actually start by having you tell us a little bit of your history and a little bit about how you got into what you're doing now, and just have at it.
Okay, well, my background actually, I went to school for advertising and marketing, and working in the marketing field for many years, events kind of played into that, and that's where my love for events began. That was definitely more on the business side with corporate and nonprofit, and that eventually kind of led to weddings and social events. So now our business is focused a lot on the wedding and social side, but we also still work on the business side with the corporate and nonprofit organizations.
Wow. Okay. So you've been now doing, do things like destination weddings and things like that?
We can do destination weddings, but I would say most of our, we target more in the Pittsburgh, the city of Pittsburgh area, the outlying areas. And then we also have an office in Raleigh, North Carolina. So that the Triangle area as well.
Oh, okay. I spent a number of years in Charlotte, so I'm relatively familiar with where you're at. It's pretty up there.
Yeah.
So, oh, that's cool. Okay. So when you're putting together, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this correctly. So basically, you're handling everything from soup to nuts when you put together an event, and right now, primarily weddings. Does that sound right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So what made you land on weddings versus everything else? To me, that sounds like it's one of the most high stress things you could ever want to do.
Yeah, it is. I think it kind of just happened that, a lot of companies have somebody internally who was handling their holiday parties or their corporate meetings. And so, people were starting to not outsource that as much. So for the weddings, unless you've been married before and you haven't planned a wedding. So it's kind of, where do you go for that? And people just start typing in wedding planner Pittsburgh. We show up. And so they found us online, and it kind of from there, you build a reputation, you work with a lot of vendors in the industry. And it is an industry where everybody's very tight knit.
Yes.
So, the word gets out and the relationships build, and people, once they hear your name and you have good reviews, they just, they spread the word.
Basically what you do then is more word of mouth than it is actually advertising or anything like that.
It's both. They definitely find us online. So through Google, we advertise with The Knot and Wedding Wire. They look at all of our reviews. We've won several awards, actually. We've been in business for 12 years now.
Oh, wow.
So they do start to look there, but then from when they find us, they do the research and they talk to other vendors and kind of just make sure that you check out.
Yeah, that I can't imagine the stress that must be involved with doing that, but it has to be fun.
It is. It's very rewarding. And I would say the weddings are in particular rewarding because you're working so closely with them for a year or more, and you're meeting their family members and their close-knit circle, and their wedding, they're going to remember that. They'll have pictures from it, and just it's a very important day in their lives. So
that is so cool. We oftentimes got asked with Black Tie Pittsburgh if we did weddings, and I thought, oh my gosh, no, I don't think so.
But that's why it's so fun, because they're all different and everyone's personality is different. So
do you end up working, are there favorite photographers and such that you have, or do you have people on staff that are?
We don't have photographers on staff, but we do have vendors that we tend to work with again and again, because we work with clients who are typically in a budget range, and the photographers we work with are also in that range, which doesn't mean we can't work with other photographers. It just happens to be that way. and the styles. A lot of our clients tend to like certain styles.
Okay, that's kind of cool. That because I don't really know a whole lot about that end of the business, so that's pretty neat. What were some of your most memorable events? The things that really stood out, not the best necessarily, but the ones that you came away going, wow, that was awesome.
Well, for weddings, if they tie in any sort of personal element, like we've had grooms on stage with the band singing or playing, anything that's kind of a surprise,
Okay.
and it showcases their talent and their uniqueness. That's always really cool. Any event with a band, we love our DJs also, but it just, it livens the place up. It's very interactive, so those are always really fun too. On the nonprofit side, I worked with hospitals on their galas, and those are always really large events, and they're for a good cause, and you always hear these uplifting stories, and I think those ones are really fun too.
That was always one of the coolest things about our time with nonprofits is you came away with such amazing stories of people and things they've been through and stuff. And you just get home at the end of an event and go, wow, that was just nuts. You really learn a lot.
Yeah.
So really, really fun. On the wedding side, are there DJs that DJs aren't all the same by any stretch. So are there ones that are specifically like geared towards weddings?
There's DJs who are, I wouldn't say necessarily geared towards weddings, but there's some who, the emceeing part of the job is a big focus for them. So if a couple really wants the DJ to talk a lot and to be incorporating their personality into the story of introducing a bridal party or something like that, then we kind of pair those DJs with that couple. Now, some couples don't want a lot of talking or an MC, so that's when we would focus on a different kind of DJ.
Okay.
Also, depending on what kind of music they like. Some people are very specific, and some people are more like, hey, you can read the crowd. You know what is best to get people up on their feet. So it's just
Oh my gosh, how fun. That has to be nuts. What are some of the more memorable or unforgettable events in terms of, wow, the weather crashed everything and it was horrible and, things like that? Do you have any of those in the back of your mind?
Oh, yeah. So, Pittsburgh is known for its rainy weather. And even though that's the case, people will still really want to have these outdoor weddings. And we always recommend having a tent as a backup plan or just to have regardless, because you never know. And we've definitely had weddings. Typically, it's when they've been in someone's, like on their land or in their backyard where, you plan for things. And sometimes even with tent, a rainstorm, the rain comes in, it's all over the floor. If it's really hot outside, there's bugs, and you have to think about all of those things. So I would say the outdoor elements have been the hardest thing for us. So, whenever we're planning a wedding that might be outdoors at a residence, we certainly try to get involved working with them at the very beginning so that all of those things are set in place.
That makes sense. In that vein, are there specific caterers and such that you like to work with? Uh-oh, I think I lost you.
So it depends on the venue. So some venues, either they cater in-house or they, you have a list of caterers to choose from. Mm-hmm. Some people, if it is in their backyard or another venue that's kind of a free-for-all, they'll bring in a caterer of their choice. But it's typically, we work with certain ones.
A lot of the big trend I'm seeing on Pinterest, believe it or not, is barns. Have you done things like in barns and things like that?
Yes. So that trend's been going on for a few years. And being in the South myself, that's definitely all the go everywhere. But even in Pittsburgh, and that's a lot of venues have actually been created from, you know, old farms or just old residences, buildings, and it's very fitting. I mean, couples love it. They're a little bit outside of the city, so they have to be okay with that. But it is kind of cool. It definitely, it makes our job a little bit harder because, again, we have to make sure that you have all the things in place that you need, because it's not necessarily an accommodating venue like a hotel. But it is a unique experience for the guests.
Yeah, those are just really, the pictures always look wonderful. And given that I'm not in the wedding planner business, I always wonder if it ends up looking at the end of it just like that, you know, and you get it all set up and it's perfect. I'm like, wow, it's amazing.
Well,
so,
that's our job to make it look like that.
That was my next question. You know, you're out there buying baby's breath and all sorts of crazy things to decorate the inside of a barn. It's like, wow. But, you know, the premise sounds really cool and the pictures are beautiful. So that's really good. Talk to me a little bit about what some of the changes are that you have made. Uh-oh, my dog, seeing the deer. Some of the changes that you've made in the business to accommodate what's going on now.
So we have a team in Pittsburgh, and we typically do have calls and check-ins, and now we've been doing that more frequently. So every week we try to check in, go through all of our clients and see where they are, if they've thought about rescheduling. You know, this keeps changing week by week. So we're really trying to stay on top of the news. We're trying to talk to other people in the industry, in Pittsburgh and other cities, because each state is also different. But yeah, it's pretty much just being really open with the clients and telling them, you know, this might go on beyond even the end of summer into the fall. You know, if you have a 200-person wedding, that might not be able to happen for quite a while. So we're just, you know, trying to keep open communication channels.
Have you started to see a number of organizations begin to stack events, like lots and lots of events now that were March, April, May, down being shoved into July, August, September?
So I mean, a lot of people, July and August, they know it's so up in the air that that's actually happening for September and October, which in the wedding industry, that's the busiest time of the year anyways. So
Is it really?
You add on, it is, yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
You add on top of that, people now booking on Fridays and Sundays, you know, that we're supposed to get married in the spring or the summer. And so, you know, our policy is always, we have a coordinator focused on one wedding per weekend, because there's so many moving parts. It's just, you know, you can't piece it with different numerous weddings throughout the weekend, at least without one planner. So we're really trying to make sure we balance that when we're talking to these clients who are rescheduling. And a lot of them, you know, some are rescheduling for 2021.
Well, that was my next question. Are you seeing a lot of them just moving to next year?
We are actually starting to recommend that.
Wow. Okay.
We weren't, but the longer this goes on, and you know, how many times do you want to reschedule as a bride? It's so stressful to plan a wedding anyways. Even with a planner, it's just, there's so many moving parts that if you have to continuously reschedule, it's a little disheartening. So whatever works best for them, but we are, you know, obviously trying to give them the best plan.
Yeah. In light of that, are you keeping in touch with them? And I'm assuming that you probably are, but how often are you keeping in touch with people that have events, you know, and weddings and such booked? Are they calling you like every week, or is it, you know, more like you don't hear from them? I'm intrigued.
I would say on a weekly basis or bi-weekly, just because things are changing so much and we're getting new information. Yeah, it's really, it's heartbreaking, but that's what we're there for. It's just hard that we also don't have an exact answer.
Yeah.
So, but we understand, we're here for them. We're working with them. We're their sounding board and
cool.
doing what best we can.
How can people get in touch with you? What's the easiest way?
Well, they can visit our website, helloproductions.com.
Okay.
You can email me at ashley@helloproductions.com. All of our contact information, though, is also on the website, and there's a contact form on there as well.
Excellent.
And we're all, we are on social media. We have a great Instagram following, and we're very active on there, Facebook, Twitter. So please visit our social media.
Oh, I'll bet some awesome photographs.
Yeah.
So like weddings and all that kind of cool stuff. What else do you have coming up in the future? Anything really cool going on? Some really neat events you want to talk about or promote?
Well, we do annual golf outings.
Okay.
In Pennsylvania and also down here in North Carolina. And those are always, they're nonprofits. And, that might be something that if you're a nonprofit organization, you usually have an indoor event. You really want to have an event in the fall and you're not quite sure what's going to be happening. Mm-hmm. That may be the safest bet, and they're really fun, and you can raise money that way.
Oh, that's okay.
Outside, like down here, the golf courses have not closed at all. So
wow,
you can do an outdoor golf tournament. You can have the dinner outside. You could do all of that, still keeping your social distance. And they are fun. They're really fun.
Yeah, that has to be cool. Here in Pennsylvania, they've closed all the golf courses.
I heard that.
It was kind of
hopefully they'll open soon.
A lot of open space. I'm not quite sure, but okay, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, down where you are, you have much longer seasons, so you can do an awful lot of things outside.
Right.
Which is also really cool. So I'm going to have you one more time tell everybody how to get in touch with you so that they can find you.
Yeah. Visit us at helloproductions.com or email me at ashley@helloproductions.com.
Awesome. Okay. I did want to take the opportunity to thank you so much for coming and, talking a little bit about all of this. And we want to make sure that we send some folks your direction because you're doing cool stuff. And we definitely like that. So thank you so much for being here today. We sincerely appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.